first round of NCAA. It's a very exciting atmosphere. It's going to be a grudge match between these two tonight.
Yeah, really a beautiful night, all things considered, for November 14th. You know, this part of the of the globe, you really have no idea what you're going to get on November 14th. 58 degrees here ahead of game start, and well, should be still in the high 40s by the time we wrap this thing up. Dynamic has completely shifted, though. These two teams started the season against each other again back in August, and well, at that point, it was Tennessee that was the hunter, right? And UNC the hunted. Now the roles reversed. Tennessee favored, high seed. They're coming into your building trying to knock you off, and already an early run. UNC.
And I think Tennessee's certainly going to have to keep their eye on Olivia Thomas and Kate Fossey up top. Those two are extremely dynamic. They can beat players off the dribble. They make runs in and behind, and they often force those back lines to collapse. It also creates those half spaces for Ulmark and Devi to get into. So Tennessee's going to have their work cut out for them defensively this evening.
Yeah, first team all ACC, that is Olivia Thomas. Her and Fossey, that dynamic duo you mentioned, both with 3 separate braces on the season. I mean, just really highlights the dynamic goal scoring present with this Tar Heels team. And you know, we were talking about it before the start of the broadcast, that really it feels like Tennessee's seen in the SEC second half of the season a lot of teams kind of sitting back and really setting that back line pretty deep. Not expecting the Tar Heels to do that tonight really kind of changes the way that Tennessee might be able to operate.
No, Chapel Hill they are a high-octane offense. I mean, I think they're certainly playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They have a lot to prove, especially in front of these Tennessee fans. They want to prove that they are the program and the national champions that the rest of the country knows them to be.
Low cross from Thomas denied, sent back to the far side of the field. And already, UNC controlling possession in the early stages. Summit Blue and Carolina Blue tonight. Who will prevail?
I think for Tennessee, you know, last time out, these two teams played against each other in August. Tennessee showed that they could absorb that pressure and defend very compactly. And in fact, that first half of the season opener was scoreless. And then second half, Tennessee came out and scored on some quick breaks. And I think, you know, we're going to see a lot of that tonight between both of these teams. I mean, Carolina likes to get numbers into the attack. I do think there's going to be opportunities for Tennessee to play through the midfield, find those gaps, find those opportunities, change the point of attack.
Well, again, talking about how things have changed since that previous meeting. Shea O'Rourke, who netted both of those goals, has been unavailable, went down with an injury against Western Carolina before SEC play began, and that's, you know, certainly changed the way that Tennessee's had to play offense. But then you also look and, well, Leah Brooks was in net, you know, in goal for North Carolina in that opener. Haven't seen her since August 21st against Georgia. It was then Abby Gundry for a while, and then Hannah Johan has really kind of anchored net in the back half of this season for UNC. Here's an opportunity for the Lady Vols. Ahead to Stayert. Played back to the middle. Open grass at the feet of Midgley. Sent back towards midfield. Lady Vols trying to get set up offensively. Far side. Little tic-tac-toe. Robinson plays it back. And there's a tough pass. North Carolina taking possession back. Now Stayert, Midgley off the foot. Still battling. Strong defensive header there. Could have been dangerous if Allie Brown wasn't able to get to it. With Fossey coming down the side.
It's really interesting when you look at these two teams stacked up against each other. Tennessee's strength is their defense. Allie Brown, Leah Clearman, and Kaden Norris all being named to that Mac Herman Trophy watch list in the middle of the season. They are very strong defensively through that center portion of the field. And for Chapel Hill, they've got the front runners, Kate Fossey Bella Devi and Olivia Thomas, lots of speed, lots of power, and finishing abilities. So it's going to be an interesting matchup watching these 1v1s take place all evening long.
North Carolina's found the back of the net this season 46 times compared to just 33 for Tennessee. But you mentioned that defense. That is the strength of this Lady Vols group. Only 9 goals allowed this year. And you look at Kaiten Norris's performance, 4 of the 9 goals allowed have come in the last 3 matches. Still has 10 saves in that stretch. So, I mean, Tennessee was the last team to allow a goal this season, went unbeaten in non-conference play. But it hasn't quite been as well-rounded as of late. Tennessee looking for an early chance. Good standing tackle. Looking for Fossey, but Allie Brown there to handle it. But, you talk about this Tennessee team, and obviously, you want to enter the postseason playing your best soccer. And for Tennessee, not quite the case. Started the season 11-1-1. They were 5-1-1 in SEC play at that point. Last 6 matches, 1-2-2, only 1 goal scored in that stretch. The offense has really grinded to a screeching halt in the last, month of the season.
Well, you can see, North Carolina is doing a really good job of keying off of Mac Midgley. She is their engine in the center of the field for Tennessee. She is their playmaker. And every time that she receives the ball at her feet, she's got 2 and 3 blue jerseys collapsing around her. Tennessee's going to have to do a better job of incorporating Devin Davis, Dakota Brown through the center of the field to get those combinations into the feet of Jenna Stayer and Anaya Robinson.
A matchup here in the first round that I think the two of us, at least, were surprised to see pop up if you were watching the stream Monday afternoon when they had the selection show, when they announced the field. And I think Joe Kurt even echoed that as well in his weekly media availability. They asked him if he was surprised, and I think quite candidly he said, yeah, he was, but he understands it's geographic, and there's some different matchups that can happen. Chance for North Carolina. There is Olivia Thomas angling in and just too far out in front.
And that whole play is kind of set up with the work that Bella Devi does on the far left-hand side. Her ability to beat the Tennessee defender 1v1 and service that ball inside of the 18 gives North Carolina their first chance.
And now a throw in for the Tar Heels. Tennessee couldn't establish possession.
And that's something that this North Carolina team does so well, is finding the spaces on the wings and combining up into those wide spaces. They really try to isolate the 1v1s for Olivia Thomas and Kate Fossey, as well as Bella Devi.
Been working that right side early with Thomas. Stayer steals it away, keeps it at her feet. Sent back by Tennessee. They'll look to set things up. How surprised, Tori, were you when you saw North Carolina pop up opposite of 3-seed Tennessee in the first round?
I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. But then again, you don't typically see North Carolina getting into the NCAA tournament through an at-large bid. But that just goes to show just how tough the ACC is at the moment. Keep in mind that 6 of the Elite 8 teams that appeared in the College Cup last year were ACC representative. The Final 4 were all ACC teams. So, that conference continues to just be a powerhouse for women's soccer.
25-1 in the opening round for North Carolina. They've also not gone on the road in the opening round. That only lost back in 2021. South Carolina was able to knock off this Tar Heels team, but in the postseason, they've consistently been able to turn it up to another level. Which again, hey, that's that's why they've won more than 50% of national championships since we started playing for championships in the 80s. But I think certainly a little bit shocking, not just to see the rematch, but to see a team with that kind of pedigree coming, to Knoxville. I think the hope is that, yeah, the outside reaction is certainly one of surprise, but, you have to keep that from bleeding through into the team too, right? If you're hoping that the mentality is excitement, another opportunity to play, a prestigious program and potentially knock them off.
I think for Tennessee, it's just a matter of, having confidence in their play. I mean, all year long, they've found ways to get results. I think the latter half of the season in the SEC tournament and the latter half of the SEC regular season was a little bit of a challenge for them just in terms of scoring. But, new opportunity, NCAA tournament, they've had ample time to kind of get some training sessions in to really focus on films and prepare and to build the chemistry. And I don't think that's something that's really talked about enough. It's just the chemistry and how much that chemistry makes a difference in terms of championship teams.
Fossey, an opportunity. Caden Norris turns it away. Decisive coming out of net there to stretch out and grab it. Tennessee, again, they've been dominant at home this year. 7-0-1, you saw that graphic flash up.
And just the timing of that run by Fossey, she does a fantastic job at just continuing the run, forces Caden Norris to come out and make that save. But that's what makes this front line for Chapel Hill so electric, is just their ability to time those runs, getting in and behind their opposition.
The senior from Phoenix, Kate Fossey, certainly someone to keep an eye on. The 24 Honda Sport Award winner, the 2024 Mac Herman Award winner, national champion, scored 20 goals a year ago. Unbelievable. Had 4 assists as well, and turned it up in the postseason.
One of the things that Chapel Hill is so known for is also the press that they put on the other teams. And you could see just in that moment, I mean, Tennessee initially was building out, coming down the sideline. North Carolina plays stepped up press, turns. Tennessee has to then start playing the ball back to reset. You see the entire North Carolina team step up in a unit. A lot of their goals come from that high press against their opposition, causing chaos in the center of the field and then attacking quickly.
Well, even with the familiarity that comes with a repeat matchup, still feels like these teams feeling each other out a little bit early on, a little more than 10 minutes into this opening round matchup. And if you're Tennessee, how are you feeling about the start to this game?
I think it's just a matter of still kind of trying to settle in. I mean, you're seeing both teams really trying to establish a rhythm. You can see that both teams know that there's a lot on the line.
Here's a run for Tennessee, led by... like Miley Zick fired that shot from range. I guess the opposite end of that, if you're North Carolina, again, you're coming on the road. Important, I think, when you're going on the road in the opening round to really kind of establish yourself early in a match. How are you feeling from the North Carolina perspective here from the first 13 or so minutes?
I think North Carolina has been playing well so far, especially just in terms of being to ebb and flow out of their shape. They typically sit in that 4-1-4-1 formation, so 4 defenders, a central player, 4 players, and then a striker up top. And the way that they're ebbing and flowing, having some of those players, you've got Riley Kennedy and Linda Olmark being able to drop in and pick up the marks through the midfield for Tennessee. It's really making things difficult for Tennessee.
North Carolina taking it away from Tennessee again there. Stayert stripped by Thomas. Another long pass, looking for Fossey, giving chase, and able to track it down to the corner. 1v1. Back to Thomas, angling into the 18. And a sliding tackle sent away, Kennedy Price.
And that was key right there for Tennessee to be able to come up and make that stop on Thomas. I have no doubt that if left uncontested, Thomas would have gone down to the end line and cut that ball back. Carolina is very good about putting numbers inside of the box. Runs near, far, and slot.
First corner of the evening, and it belongs to UNC. High service, back post. Norris pokes it away, able to get the right hand to it. Still alive for UNC. It's sent back out near midfield. Delarose working into the offensive end. Soft pass cut off. Tennessee will try and counter. And a great challenge along the sideline Bella Gattino.
And Kennedy Price has really stepped up for this Tennessee. Twice we've already seen her intercept passes from North Carolina, and in doing so, she's created offensive opportunities for Tennessee.
Well, in that opener, Kennedy Price, 74 minutes against UNC. She started the first 11 matches of the year. Every match in 2024, only one start in the last 7, though, has only played 30 minutes per match in that stretch, but getting the nod here tonight. A collision possession given to UNC. Like Stayard.
You can see Kate Runyon is not necessarily pleased with that call. Bella Gattino came in, looked like she kind of hip checked her, forced Kate Runyon to fall onto her back.
Thomas, crafty to head it back in. Linda Olmark, and too far out in front of Thomas. It's out of play. Goal kick coming for Tennessee.
And you talk about a player that's really a connector for this North Carolina team. That's Linda Olmark. She leads the team with 7 assists. She's really good at connecting that middle of the field, being a playmaker in for Fossey and Olivia Thomas.
Yeah, Olmark, the sophomore from Buffalo, 2 goals, 8 shots in the last 3 matches. So, you know, not just a distributor either, though she does have 7 assists this season. She's also, you know, flexed some of her offensive muscles and really just on cue with the way that this UNC team's played down the stretch. Have not beat a ranked team this season. That's something they're trying to accomplish tonight, but won 5 out of their last 7. Tar Heels really controlling possession here in this opening half. Really good crowd on hand tonight at Regal Soccer Stadium. Again, 7-0-1 at home this year. 6-0-1 outside of the SEC. Bouncing around in front of the box. There's Munson trying to turn and run. Tar Heels reverse field near side. Thomas another go, angling in hard. Able to keep it at her feet. Now to Penny. Far side again, Tennessee's defense there. And taken away. Back to Thomas. A long shot over the crossbar. Olivia Thomas. A little bit of grass, and she decided to fire. She's an all ACC type player. She can make these.
And that's just that 1v1 and just her ability really to hold off Devin Davis, the Tennessee defender, trying to get herself level for that shot. She scored 13 goals. She ranks 3rd in the ACC in terms of offensive production.
She was the College Cup's most outstanding player in the Tar Heels title run last year, scored 4 goals in the NCAA tournament, 2 in the College Cup, and also had the game-winning goal in that national championship against Wake Forest. So, you know, when it comes postseason time, she's shown a tendency, as has Kate Fossey and some of these other stars for UNC, to turn it up just another notch. And I think, I mean, again, you talk about championship pedigree, the pedigree just of some of these players. A program like North Carolina, oftentimes they just, you know, whether coaches change, players change, year to year, they still seem like they find that ability to hit another gear in November and into December.
Well, and you have to think that the core of this team was around for that 2024 national championship, and that does make a difference. Having that exposure, knowing how to play under pressure, all of those things matter.
They had 3 freshmen a year ago that played in all 27 matches. It was a young team. They really turned over a lot of the roster from that disappointing 2023 end, again, when they blew a 3-0 lead at BYU in the snow. Ended up losing that one in the 89th minute. Tennessee takeaway. Numbers entering the attacking third. A nice run here. Sent through, and almost a beautiful opportunity for Kate Runyon.
And Tennessee does a really good job of capitalizing on that quick counterattack, that transition, being able to find Kate Runyon on that through ball.
Tennessee getting North Carolina back on their heels a little bit here, about the halfway point in this first half. For Tennessee this season, they've been more of a second half team. You look at the goal breakdown, and well, in the first half, Tennessee's only scored 9 goals compared to 24 in the second half this season, 33 total. Opponents have only scored 3 times in the first half. North Carolina, 19 first half goals. So again, a more high-powered offense in general, but certainly, you know, they do have somewhat of a tendency to get off to a fast start.
I think for Tennessee, again, it's just a matter of keeping their composure and settling into a rhythm, defensively committing, first of all, to matching up on those 1v1s. Here's another look at that replay. You can see the little shove that comes in there after the fact. Ashley Penny called for the foul on that one. But for Tennessee, it's just settling in, just playing their style of play against the Tar Heels. There's going to be moments, there's going to be gaps, there's going to be space through the midfield for Tennessee to play into. That's where they're going to have a lot of movement, quick combination work.
Price certainly battling there, and possession stays with the Lady Vols. Long pass able to find Price.
And I think there's going to be moments for Tennessee to have overloads on one side of the field, so the switches, the opportunities are going to be open on the backside.
Throw in, and Tennessee corner coming.
And if you'll recall, first time out, Tennessee against Chapel Hill, both of the goals that Shea O'Rourke scored came in transition. Balls played across to the far side of the field, catching the Tar Heels on the edge.
Crowd here at Regal coming to life ahead of this corner, trying to give this Lady Vol squad a boost. Corner sent in. Headed towards net, still loose, and finally cleared out. Another great opportunity for the Lady Vols here in the last couple of minutes.
Here's the service in, the ball's high in the air. It's Allie Brown who's able to get her head on it, and Kate Runyon contests the ball. In the end, gets called for the foul there, but fantastic effort by this Tennessee team.
It did end up colliding with Hannah Johan in net. Johan, the sophomore, she was a part of that 2024 National Championship squad, though did not see any action along that run. She has 3 goals allowed, 1 save in the last 3 matches for UNC, but still a 2-1 record in that stretch. Low cross, turned away. Tennessee keeps possession.
And Jenna Stayert does a really good job to isolate her player on the far side of the field in that corner, slots the ball back in. That's where Tennessee's going to have a little bit more dynamic movement across and inside of that box.
Trying to get organized ahead of the throw-in. Stayert keeping it alive. Now back to Runyon. Stayert again makes a move. Sent towards goal. Cleared out. Stayert pressing. Go to Brown, keeping it alive briefly. Now upfield to Fossey, trying to turn on Allie Brown. Bodies falling to the grass there. The Regal crowd loving it.
You can see just that 1v1 defending. Allie Brown and Kate Fossey going at it. Tough defending. Allie Brown does a fantastic job of keeping her body between the ball and the player. You can see Kate Fossey and her getting tangled up.
That is must-see action all night long whenever those two are up against each other. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the better players in the country. Allie Brown on Top Draw Soccer's mid-season watch list at number 14. And, well, for Fossey, she was up there as well. Player of the year last year, and among that top 50 at the mid-season watch list this season.
Just pay attention to how fast this Carolina press is. I mean, they've got Tennessee's defense pinned back so quickly. The way that they put numbers, I mean, just the attacking, you got Fossey running in players hard, Bella Devi. You get Tennessee pinned back pretty quickly. They're going to have to move the ball very fast. They're going to have to look for those pivot players through the center in order to be able to break the press that Carolina's putting forth.
Just, man, when you watch this UNC team, going back, you know, watching games this past week, when you've seen them throughout the season, going back to that season opener even, what really stands out about them is just that speed. And not just, you know, in those offensive positions, but all over the field. This is just a really fast lineup.
One thing that Carolina teams are always known for is their fitness. I mean, the fitness expectation, you know, that is one thing that's never an issue when you play a Carolina team is, are they fit enough? They're always going to be fit enough. They're always going to have that second, third, fourth gear, especially when their opposition is gasping. They know that games can be flipped in just mere seconds, and they capitalize on those opportunities.
Well, the other part of that as well, as we get a whistle at midfield, possession given to the Lady Vols. But the other part of that too, you know, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but I mean, the last time we've seen UNC out on the field, October 30th. You know, they went into decision day in the ACC with an outside chance at cracking the top 6 and making the tournament. Beat NC State, still didn't. A stare. Chance for Runyon and a goal! Tennessee starts the scoring. Kate Runyon.
What an exciting moment for this Tennessee offense, especially when they've been struggling to score in the last couple of games. Fantastic setup. Kate Runyon finds herself isolated there. Great ball that comes through. Jenna Stayer able to feed that ball through. And Kate Runyon does a fantastic job keeping her eye on it. Doesn't put too much on it, just enough to place it in the back of the net. Tennessee up on Carolina right now.
For Kate Runyon, that is goal number 6 this season. She had one shot in the previous matchup with UNC. Runyon's also netted 3 game winners this year. And, well, for Tennessee, there's a long way to go tonight, but you're hoping that's number 4.
I mean, in some respects, I think Tennessee better buckle up right now because this Carolina team is going to come at them hard and heavy and fast. So I think these next 5 minutes at least, I think they're going to have to really buckle down. Tennessee, there's 18 minutes left to go in the first half. They're going to really have to be in sync on playing compact defense, making sure that all the players are marked up. You can see Carolina's had a quick little team talk. They're not happy with this, but they know there's plenty of time left to make a difference in this game.
Well, trailing for the first time since October 23rd. That was a loss at Miami.
Tennessee goals.
And now for Tennessee,
number 7, Kate Runyon.
Yes, the flip side of that, you know that North Carolina is going to come with a charge here, but can you carry that momentum and maybe try and, you know, open the floodgates a little bit offensively? You only had 1 goal in your previous 5 matches. You break through here. You've had some chances. Can you build off of that and allow it to lead to even more offense?
I think one of the things this Tennessee team has been really focusing on in these last couple of days is being conscious of when they're choosing to go to goal and just the quality of looks. So I think for this, you know, to your point, Charlie, right now it's a matter of just playing solid defense, not taking any risks that are unnecessary, making sure that, you know, instead of possessing the ball all the time in the back inside the 18, sometimes it's okay to play those balls high, far, and wide, and especially defending against set pieces.
You talk about needing to play exceptional defense. That was another excellent play from Allie Brown to challenge Fossey there, running at the goal. A North Carolina corner. Tennessee heads it out. Not out of the woods yet. Angling hard in. It's Linda Olmark. Bella Devi, a shot. Norris lets it sail wide. Not a bad look from range.
And Bella Devi is one of those players that's just been absolutely outstanding for this Carolina team. Her work rate is absolutely unmatched. She's very creative in pockets of space, very technical, and she's not afraid to shoot from far out either.
Yeah, the freshman's made an immediate impact this season. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Utah, the Draper, Utah native. But across the Mississippi and made an immediate impact. Played 81 minutes, registered 1 shot against Tennessee in the opener. On the season, Devi, 4 goals, 2 assists, 40 shots.
And it should be mentioned that the last time out for this Carolina team against NC State, she notched the goal against them. It was an absolutely phenomenal finish ahead from Fossey into the feet of Devi, and Devi was able to bury it.
North Carolina looking for a response. 16 minutes left to go in the first half. Alongside Tori Beeler-Watson, I'm Charlie Collier here. First round action, Lady Vols with the early lead. One of the best defenses in the nation. Trying to keep this North Carolina team off the board, and right on cue, an answer for UNC. Just came out to the far side, and North Carolina buried it.
And Olivia Thomas is just so disciplined in terms of how she takes her player on. She baits her player in that 1v1, drives to the corner, and slots the ball back. But I want you to pay special attention to the placement of where she hits this ball. And the runs that come in from North Carolina, it enables them to get that second finish on the backside. You've got players set up on the near far slot. So if you miss it in the center, you've got a player on the back post. That is just textbook finish right there for Carolina.
Well, the 2024 leading scorer, and now here in 2025, that is goal number 10 this season to even us up at 1 goal apiece. Again, a little bit of a broadcaster's jinx right there for this Lady Vol defense. And I mean, Tori, you pointed it out when Tennessee took the lead early. You said, watch out. North Carolina's coming. You were looking for that response.
Anytime that a goal is scored, the next 5 minutes of play are the most pivotal moments, because anytime you have that momentum shift or stoppage in play, it's an opportunity for a team to kind of, unplug for a minute. And I think for Tennessee, especially against an opponent as tough as Carolina, you've got to stay on your toes. You have to stay locked in.
You're feeling great, and then again, North Carolina just comes right back, no hesitation. The answer, where are you at emotionally now if you're Tennessee to score and then concede so quickly?
I think for Tennessee, I think it's just a matter of having confidence in your play. I mean, obviously they scored against Carolina before. They did it again tonight. I think it's, and so far tonight, they've played an even matchup.
North Carolina goals scored.
For viewers at home, I think the pause in the game, the officials were just kind of reviewing to make sure that there weren't any offsides in play, especially when you've got a match, as important as this one. They want to make sure that every goal is a sure goal.
Opportunities started to come about for Tennessee, but evaporated quickly. North Carolina will try and flip it the other way. Olivia Thomas near side.
I mean, for Tennessee, I think it's just a matter of continuing to manage the tempo that North Carolina is going to throw at them. I mean, North Carolina does a very good job of accelerating and slowing down, and so Tennessee is going to have to manage that pace, especially as they go into the half.
What an effort from Jenna Stayer to win that possession away. Right back to North Carolina.
And the challenge that Tennessee is facing at the moment is because North Carolina is putting so many numbers forward, it's causing Tennessee's offensive players to have to pinch in and help defend. The question is, how quickly are they going to be able to transition their shape?
Trying to turn defense into offense here. Long pass. Defended well by North Carolina. It is sent out of play. Tennessee throw-in coming.
In for Tennessee, number 8, Luciana Latino.
First 3 substitutions
13,
entered for Tennessee.
And number 25, Skylar Miller.
Keaton Mitchell, Luciana Latino, and Skylar Miller all enter for the Lady Vols. Devin Davis coming off with, looks like Dakota Brown. Lady Vols want to get set up in the offensive third. Possession awarded back to UNC. Quick touch, Thomas. Miller takes it away. North Carolina off to the races. Miley Zick, a good challenge. And then a slide tackle there sends it out of play. Good job, Leah Clerman that time. Nearing half, knotted up at 1. And a foul gives it back to the Lady Vols.
You can see the challenge on the far side. Anaya Robinson gets tripped up with Bella Devi.
Off the back heel of Robinson. Fought forward midfield, one back by the Tar Heels. Again, they'll turn and run. Turned away looking for Thomas. Lady Vols win it back. Soft pass, out of play.
And Ashley Penny has been instrumental for this Carolina team in terms of playing that pivot player. As Carolina builds out of the back, they're often looking for Ashley Penny in that central position, who's then able to feed it into the feet of Olmark or into those higher spaces to find Thomas or Devi.
Well, Ashley Penny did not start the Tennessee match. Did play 31 minutes against the Lady Vols. She has started every match since. Played in all 18, started 17. Another one of those young Tar Heels that just continues to carve out more and more of a role. Thomas with a little bit of a forearm shiver there along the sideline. I think they gave the foul to Miller. Thomas got away with one there.
And here's another look. Thomas looking for the Meg there. Cindy Miller comes in on the backside of Thomas.
Physical soccer tonight. Gotta love it. Saw a couple of really physical possessions or battles rather, with Fossey and Allie Brown earlier. Thomas certainly just a really physical player in general.
And I gotta say, Kennedy Price is just playing some really tough defense for this Tennessee team. She's doing a fantastic job standing up Olivia Thomas. Such a dynamic, creative player. That's a tall order, and Price has been up to the task tonight.
It was a Tennessee defense combined with Caden Norris that collectively have, helped pitch 13 clean sheets this season. That is a program record for the Lady Vols. At the feet of Thomas again, looking to go one-on-one. Help comes in defensively. Thomas centered. Back to Thomas, still alive. A shot, and cleared out.
And Miley Zick at the right place. I'm sure Caden Norris looked a little bit out of possession there, a bit hesitancy. I don't know that she saw that quite as clearly as she would have liked, but Miley Zick does a fantastic job of taking care of business on the back line. Here's the service across from Olivia Thomas. You can see that ball drops, I think, a little bit sooner than Caden Norris had anticipated. Miley Zick does a fantastic job of stepping in.
And
good defensive play.
Saw Fossey there hanging out back post too. That's one of those where if it does get through to Norris, potentially a pretty dangerous rebound. So, a great defensive play. And now a free kick here for North Carolina.
And set pieces are always a tough element, especially in these NCAA tournament games.
Far side. Still alive. Norris tries to dive on it. It's another North Carolina goal. Just a pile of bodies there. And it looks like Linda Olmark, the one to push it through. No, pardon me, that Caitlin Mara. Her third goal of the season.
And it starts off with a free kick with Tessa Della Rose, that left-footed in-swinger. It's bending towards the goal. You can see just a little bit of the confusion in the top. It's Caitlin Mara who continues her run. Not enough organization from Tennessee defensively. Lets an easy one in.
Again, her third goal of the season. She had a brace back on October 17th against SMU. It's her only other goal of the season and a timely one. Tennessee took the early 1-0 lead. The Tar Heels have come storming back since. 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to go on top, 2-1 here before half.
Number 17, Caitlin Mara.
Now the Lady Vols looking to play with some urgency. Kennedy Price able to track it down deep. Tino has space. Rolls it over to Robinson.
Again,
I
think Tennessee, it's just a matter of continuing to move the ball quickly. Those decisions have to happen faster on the field. Also, Mac Midgley is getting double teamed everywhere. This Carolina team knows that she's the playmaker. Things run through that. So I think Tennessee's going to have to do a better job of freeing up Devin Davis, Dakota Brown, Luciana Latino, Keaton Mitchell. Those players that are sitting in there in the center of the field, they're going to have to take more of an active role in this attack. Tennessee's also going to have more combination works from their front runners as well as their wing backs getting into the attack.
Keaton Mitchell tripped up, but a whistle and a foul given. Oh, possession given to North Carolina there. Six fouls apiece between these two teams in the first half. Again, really highlights how physical tonight's match has been. Fossey, impressive header forward. 2-on-1. Back to Thomas. A nice move to enter the box. Cross over to Fossey. And Norris lets that header bounce safely to the grass left of the goal.
And it's interesting, just that chemistry between Fossey and Olivia Thomas. As Olivia Thomas was dribbling down to the right side of the field, you saw Kate Fossey. They eyed each other. Kate Fossey made a bending run to that back post. Just that chemistry, that awareness between the two of these players. It's no wonder that they've been able to rack up as many goals as they have for this Carolina team.
And not just the skill either, but the soccer IQ from both of those players. It just feels like every time you look up, they're in the right spot. They make the right decision, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Here comes Thomas again through the middle. Challenge Tennessee. It's Kennedy Price that turned it away. Another strong play from Price. A little over 6 minutes to go in the half. Even go back to Luciana Latino. Her pass doesn't make it across midfield.
For me, I think the biggest point of difference between this Carolina team and Tennessee at the moment is that Carolina is stepping to every first and second ball. I think they're outpacing Tennessee in that statistic at the moment.
We'll see if the Lady Vols can try and string a couple of chances together here before the halfway point. There's that press again from North Carolina, dangerous.
And you can see, I mean, Tennessee, they do not have a lot of time to make decisions, so they've got to move that ball quickly. The thing is, though, with as many numbers that Carolina's pushing forward on that press, that does mean that there's opportunities to potentially break it with a long ball.
They've been able to get it in deep a couple of times over top of the defense to Price. Hasn't necessarily led to chances yet, but I mean, again, you mentioned it. Overworks 2 goals in that first meeting. They were, those long stretch passes. Tonight, that's where the opportunity's been as well. And long pass going to Fossey, flag up, offside.
Yeah, I really think, Tennessee has an opportunity to catch Carolina with numbers in the attack, especially with that diagonal ball across, because as Tennessee's building through the center of the field, Carolina's collapsing numbers around them. There's a lot of double teams in the center of the field, and it's taking numbers out of position, shifting them out of position defensively, which is going to leave space on that far side for Tennessee to attack into. That's where Tennessee found the success against this Carolina team earlier in the season, scored 2 goals, isolating Shea O'Rourke there. For Tennessee, it's just a question of which player are they going to isolate, which player is going to have the killer instinct and the speed and the quality and ability to finish when necessary.
Again, you talk about a rematch, and Joe Kurt and his media availability was saying, hey, teams evolve, they change throughout the year, but there's some things that they think they could take advantage of against them that weren't available in the first game with how they've adjusted throughout the year. Right now, this Tennessee offense, though, looking for a little bit more here in this final 3:45 before the break.
I think Tennessee's going to have a little bit more connectedness, combination work in order to shift some players out of space. I mean, we really haven't seen Tennessee have too many opportunities in comparison to this Carolina team.
Bodies go crashing down. Play continues. No foul there in the box.
Some of Tennessee's best looks all night have come off of a corner kick. So the more that Tennessee can keep the ball on this end of the field and press Carolina as they're building out, the more opportunities that they're going to have in front of the goal.
Looking for Miller, headed out. Kept alive, and the shot sails into the trees. Too much that time from Luciano Latino.
Carolina, number 11, Aries Freifeld.
Here's Luciano Latino, just launches that one over. Can't help but to think that could have been a better look for her.
Aries Freifeld enters for Olivia Thomas. Give Thomas an opportunity to get a little bit of an extra break in conjunction with the halftime break coming here in 2.5 minutes. Freifeld, the freshman from Bend, Oregon, has appeared in all 18 matches. Comes Tessa Delarose hard. Physical play continues, and now a whistle. Tennessee fans not happy about that call. Joe Kurt with his palms up as well.
And again, Tessa Delarose has her very good service with her left foot in swinger on the inside. You can see just this battle. There's a little bit of a shirt pulling there. I could see why Coach Joe Kurt would be a little bit upset there. It looked like Delarose had the jersey of Sydney Miller.
Long pass, Delarose. Dangerous bounce. Headed around, still in the box. And there's a whistle back to Tennessee. Speaking of things that are different from that first meeting, well, Tessa Delarose was unavailable. She's, been one of the more reliable players for this North Carolina team in 2024. She was a U.S. soccer coach's 4th team All-American. She was preseason Herman Trophy watch list, but is banged up to start the year, unavailable against Tennessee. Has played in 13 matches this year, started 9. So, just another boost to this Tar Heels team. A minute to go. Tennessee looking for a run late. Gets through Kennedy Price and sent back away. Throw in coming. Tennessee trying to hustle here with the clock winding down. Not a bad idea from Sarah Kate Rath.
I think this is where Tennessee has to be a little bit more decisive in the attacking third. You can see a little bit of hesitancy. Players need to be moving into space, into an area where they can combine off of one another.
10, 9,
Latino chases
8,
it down. Fossey
7,
pressuring.
6,
5 seconds to go.
3, 2.
Shot attempt is blocked. And that is how the first half comes to a close. So the first 30 minutes, scoreless. Well, first 28 minutes scoreless. The last 18 got a little wild. North Carolina back-to-back goals after the Lady Vols struck first, and the Tar Heels looking to pull off the round 1 upset. Leaders on the road here at the break over the third-seeded Lady Vols. Tar Heels 2, Tennessee 1. For a Tennessee team that, again, offensively, we've highlighted some of the struggles they had down the stretch. Started the scoring their second goal in just the last, now, 5.5 halves of soccer, knowing that you have 45 minutes left. You need at least one goal to keep your season alive. And if you want to continue to play soccer, well, you're going to have to find 2 goals, whether that's in this 45-minute stretch or beyond. What do you think this Tennessee offense can do, Tori, in this second half to just create more opportunities, especially in front of net?
I think as a coach, it's your job to make things bite-sized. Keep them in the present, the right here, the right now. Focus on the process. And this Tennessee team is no stranger to having to play behind. In fact, the last couple of games that they've stepped out on the field, they've been in this position before. So I think it's just a matter of continuing to play together, playing the tough soccer that they know that they're going to be called to play, especially in the second half. Make sure that they're connected defensively, and then when they have those moments in transition, really exploit the space, but they have to do it a lot faster. I think for me, first half, Tennessee wasn't making their decisions. Their decision-making over the ball was a half a step slower than this Carolina team. They're going to have to communicate and move off the ball a lot faster.
North Carolina looking to run off of a deep entry from Zick. Miley Zick gets back to turn it away. Look back at that first half of action, and things were pretty even across the board. Fouls were even 7 apiece. Corner kicks were 2-1 North Carolina. Shots were 5-4 in favor of the Lady Vols. And I think that's kind of what we've seen tonight. Some good soccer from both sides, and North Carolina maybe 1 or 2 more high danger chances, and that ultimately has put them ahead by 1. Looking for more here. Fossey out in front. They're trying to find her into the 18. A shot. Norris turns it away. And that flag up. Fossey's run offside.
And just the timing of those runs and the space. I mean, Bella Devi able to receive the ball. She dribbles more to the inside. And just the pace at which she plays that ball in and the run. Kate Fossey makes that run in and behind the Tennessee defenders. The movement up top is very dynamic, and it happens so quickly.
Well, just, we were talking about this story off air in between halves. It feels like Olivia Thomas and Kate Fossey both, and really, this whole UNC team, but especially you see it in those two. It's like they have this sixth sense to know where every player on the field is at all times. They're confident in their decision making. They make quick decisions. It's just really impressive to watch. Just
the soccer IQ, but I think more so these players are trained. If you watch them, they're taking looks over their shoulders 3-4 times. They're scanning the field. That's one of the things that makes Lionel Messi such a phenomenal player is his ability to scan the field, his awareness, recognizing where the open pockets of space and play are. And that's exactly what this Carolina team, their head is constantly on a swivel. So as they're receiving the ball, they already know which direction they want to go with it. They know what option 1, 2, and 3 are. So if option 1, as they receive it, is shut down, they already know where that second option is. And for Tennessee, that decision-making process just isn't happening as quickly.
Tar Heels reversing field. Ball 1, Linda Olmark with space. Sent to the middle now for Fossey. And Fossey couldn't quite chase it down, kept it alive for Olivia Thomas in the corner. Taking an angle on Robinson. Knifing through the box, shot blocked, kept alive. Hope Munson angling near the end line, and a North Carolina corner coming from the deflection.
And that was a scary scenario for Tennessee as Fossey was running through the center of the field. That could have been a conversion for North Carolina had they been able to find her feet.
And that's the other side of the equation for Tennessee. As much as that urgency builds as the clock ticks to find that equalizer, At the same time, you cannot, whatever happens, concede another and find yourself down 2 goals to the defending national champions. A corner here, headed out Tennessee. Olmark kept it alive, but a defensive stand, Lady Vols.
Devin Davis just able to get her body behind it and get that clearance out. That's where I think Caden Norris is really going to have to step up this second half. She's really going to have to make sure that her defense is organized, especially with the movement that this Carolina team brings. That's going to move Allie Brown and Leah Clearman out of those support positions from time to time as they're marking her up. Caden Norris is going to have to step up in that role, be a big voice, and be very confident. She's going to be called upon this second half to make some big saves, but I have no doubt that she's capable of being able to do it.
Second team All-SEC, that is Caden Norris. In fact, Tennessee, the only team in the SEC to have an All-SEC selection at every single level. Goalkeeper, midfield, defense, offense. I mean, you look at this team and it paints a picture of what is a really complete Lady Vol team. Robinson knocked hard to the turf.
You can see Anaya Robinson over the ball. Olivia Thomas just comes in from behind. Gets called for that foul. Tennessee finds himself in a position where they can maybe make something happen here. You get Allie Brown over the ball, serving the ball up.
Opportunity for the Lady Vols. Headed top of the box. Latino back towards goal and cleared. Tar Heels turn it away.
Again for Tennessee, as they're building out of the back, this Carolina team puts such an intense press. I mean, even if Tennessee's able to get the play behind the Carolina player, they're charging on their back. So I think Tennessee's going to have to build out of the back a lot faster, be a little bit more intentional, and getting the ball up the field and not getting caught in possession in their defensive third.
Moving it a little bit quicker in that sequence. Tennessee throw in. Just trying to find space along that right side, now played to the middle. Trying to move this North Carolina defense out of position. Room on the far side, and that's where the ball goes. But the quick pass is just off the mark. Trying to find a running Jenna Stayer, didn't really have an opportunity to catch up to it.
And again, I think those across the ball, those balls across the field are going to be open. I mean, Carolina shifts defensively. They tend to defend heavy on one side. It leaves that back space open for Tennessee to attack into. They can change the point of attack. They'll find some success.
Johan's goal kick doesn't quite reach midfield. Tennessee building off of it. Latino. Running with it, Clearman. Sent in, Robinson. Now Stayer. And a strong defensive play to turn away that opportunity. Possession stays with the Lady Vols, and there's Fossey pressing. Thomas giving chase as well, now to Robinson. Possession stays with Tennessee. Another Lady Vol throw in. So spending more time in control of possession here in the first 9 or so minutes of this second half. Through ball into the corner. Robinson can't quite catch up.
And it's these little missteps from Tennessee that's really kind of been the Achilles heel for this team the last couple of games out. Just not having all of the offensive players on the same page. I mean, just missed opportunity, missed passes, not being able to connect. And that is the difference between these two teams at the moment. You spoke about the chemistry and the connectedness between Debbie, Fossey, and Thomas all being on the same page. I think that is definitely a point of difference tonight at the moment.
You saw Anaya Robinson highlighted there. It's been an interesting season for the Arkansas transfer. She was one of 3 players brought in to try and spark this offense. It was obviously Shea O'Rourke and Kylie Simmons from Missouri in the transfer portal as well. Anaya Robinson, as a freshman at Arkansas, 11 goals, was an all-SEC freshman selection. You know, she's really the last one standing of those reinforcements. Simmons went down in the preseason. O'Rourke went down after her, 5-game stretch. Robinson this year didn't play in that UNC game, was a little banged up early on, got back into the lineup, and then early in SEC play, first match, a brace against Mississippi State. You're thinking, all right, going to pick up where she left off freshman year at Arkansas, and well, Robinson hasn't scored since.
Tennessee's really had to lean on a lot of different players in order to get the job done. Jenna Stayert has been pivotal, so has Kate Runyon. I mean, we've even seen players such as Leah Clearman in the back. She had a phenomenal goal from distance, from range. I mean, Tennessee certainly has had to shoulder, that offensive production from different players and different looks.
It's definitely been a team effort. 16 different players with an assist, an SEC lead. Dangerous, a turnover leads to a Thomas shot. That is sent well high.
At some point for me, Tennessee needs to recognize that trying to play out of the back with the level of press that Carolina is putting in them is a no-go. I think at some point they're going to just have to chalk it up and play that ball long, give themselves a fighting chance. I mean, you can see they've got 3 players, and Tennessee so far has been a little bit struggling to get the ball out. I mean, break that line, play the long ball over the top, have players run onto it.
Just looking for 60 seconds of magic here, just that one run that can lead to an equalizer. Maybe going to find it here. Robinson up the right side. And again, there's just 2 defenders for 1, and that opportunity quickly turned away.
And I think tactically, if I'm Tennessee, that's one of the other things you have to take into consideration. Every time Tennessee tries to build down the sideline, Carolina is putting 2 players on you, double teaming, which means that there's space on the inside to create into. So if I'm dribbling down, if I'm Anaya Robinson, the second that I see that second cover person slide over, she needs to be kicking that ball into the inside space for Tennessee's player.
It was Mac Midgley really getting double teamed a lot early in the first half. Saw, that second defender come in and help along the right side. I'm no rocket scientist or anything, but, the math seems to check out, right? If there's that extra defender coming, then somewhere else on the field there's space. So, for Tennessee, how do you find that space?
I think it's a matter of just being able to handle the pressure and the timing of that, right? But then you also have to have the movement. So players around you recognizing you're about to be double teamed, playing into that space so the ball could be dished off to you.
North Carolina team right now, just an unrelenting force at all levels. I mean, you highlighted it. It's a team that always is in really good physical condition, and that's no different tonight. Uninspiring pass for Fossey that time, but a turnover and an opportunity. Fossey trying to finish and does around Norris. A turnover into a quick goal, and it's a 3-1 lead for North Carolina.
And that's what makes this Carolina team just so outstanding, is just the change in their tempo and the way that they are able to put pressure on their opposition. You can see just a missed pass there from Allie Brown, coughs it up, and Bella Devi's at the right place, right time. But it's the relentlessness from Kate Fossey just to be able to see that ball in the back of the net all the way through, just displaying that killer instinct that she displays every time outside on the pitch.
I mean, just time and time again, Kate Fossey shows up, especially in the postseason. That her 11th goal of the year, but now a brace in tonight's matchup, 2nd goal of the night. And for Fossey again, 2024 Mac Herman Award winner. It's the 8th all-time for the UNC program. And in the postseason, she has 3 postseason braces, now 4 in her career. Debuted actually against Tennessee all the way back in 22, and she's been really a problem against this Lady Vol squad since.
I think for Tennessee, it's just a matter of continuing to have confidence in yourself. I mean, you don't want to get into a position where you're playing panic ball. But without question, this Carolina team has been putting a tremendous amount of pressure on this Tennessee back line, and it's been costly. I mean, it's evident by that third goal. So I think in moments such as this, they need to kind of take some of the pressure off themselves and play that ball long from here and there. Play that ball instead of trying to build it out of the back. Just go ahead and give themselves a break and play that ball long.
A 3-1 lead again here for North Carolina. Still 31 minutes to go in regulation. Alongside Tori Buehler-Watson, Charlie Collier here on the call.
I think also for Tennessee, anytime a team is up 2 goals over you, it's tough, especially first-round NCAA match. I mean, you're kind of sat back in your heels and you're in a position where you're chasing the game. I think most important at this moment is that they do everything they can to minimize that gap and not allow Carolina to go up by any more.
Well, when you have a North Carolina team that, that is pressing you high off with some of their offensive players, that is just coming at you over and over and over again and making these runs. And I mean, really, there's just not been anything easy tonight for Tennessee. When they're speeding you up like that, how do you still control yourself, control your emotions, control the pace for Tennessee?
I think that's just a maturity that you have to play with. And again, just confidence in your team and just rely on the relationships that you have out on the field and knowing that the teammate next to you is going to do her job to the best of her ability and that she's going to play hard.
Well, again, the Lady Vols have not been beaten at home this year. In fact, under head coach Joe Kurt, 23-8-8 on Rocky Top. But again, they're going to need some magic here in the final 30.
Now in for Tennessee, number 20, Matt
when you have a season on the line like you do here in this now 29.5-minute stretch,
you can't help but to think about the irony of this, right? So, I mean, Tennessee opened up their match hosting the number 1 team in the country, ended up upending them 2-0. That win ended up catapulting Tennessee, had a lot of success after that. And to be now in this position where they're hosting Chapel Hill, who got into the NCAA tournament on an at-large bid, former national champions getting in at an at-large bid, and for now Tennessee's season to be potentially on the line from the same exact team.
Do you think that there is any kind of psychological factor for Tennessee? When you have the defending national champions coming to your building, when you grow up playing this sport, loving this sport, then you know that UNC is the premier program. They are the dominant postseason team. They're 25-1 in the first round. There's those cliche coach conversations. You got to play the player in the jersey, not the name on it. But, I mean, is that a real factor sometimes? That intimidating might not be the right word, but you feel a little bit extra pressure knowing the pedigree of the program across from you.
I think certainly there is that element of it. I mean, any young girl in America who's grown up playing competitive soccer at some point has had a hero from Chapel Hill. Whether it's a player that played at Chapel Hill or then went on to play for the national team, at some point, girls have idolized, Carolina material. In fact, there's a lot of college programs that have been influenced by the players that Anson Durance have produced. But to answer your question, I think this Tennessee team, I think what's getting in their head more than anything is the fact that they know that they've been struggling to score goals, the offensive production, creating opportunities in the box, and then being able to finish on them. So that, again, is going to be in their head. But then the other side of the coin is I think they recognize that this Carolina team that they're playing tonight is not the same Carolina team that they played in August. This Carolina team that they're squaring up against tonight is much more refined, more polished. They've had a chance to kind of put together the pieces and really dial in the production on and off the field. So it's a bigger challenge for them.
I think that's the unfortunate part for Tennessee is that as a 3 seed, you're expecting maybe a different kind of matchup. And it's a North Carolina team that just the talent profile, the type of players that they have, your Fossies and your Thomases, but I mean, beyond that, even, players that aren't going to crack the field tonight or are just waiting in the wings with pedigree. It's just, it's unfortunate, but UNC had a tough start to the season, lost to Tennessee, lost to Georgia. Florida State got them, Notre Dame got them, 4 losses before you hit October, and recovered nicely, obviously, to finish strong in the season and get into the tournament. But that figuring out process early in the year, you just knew that a high seed somewhere was going to draw a really dangerous North Carolina team, and Tennessee ended up being you.
Well, I think you also have to factor in the ACC, the talent that's in the ACC, especially, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 6 of the Elite 8 teams were from the ACC. The final 4 teams last year in the College Cup were all ACC teams. So that's the type of competition that this Chapel Hill team is getting in. They're getting some substantial reps against high caliber teams. That's not to say that Tennessee doesn't have quality opponents inside the SEC, because undoubtedly they do. They're playing opponents, like Arkansas, like Mississippi State, so forth and so on. And then Tennessee, their non-conference schedule was extremely competitive. But I think for Carolina, they've played some of these higher caliber teams deeper into the season. These ACC teams like Stanford, like Wake Forest, like Notre Dame, like Virginia, who are all, and Florida State, that are all in those top 10 slots.
Well, another couple of opportunities for North Carolina. Caden Norris covered one of them up. The possession went right back to the Tar Heels, almost a good look for potentially a 4th goal. And you talk about a Tennessee team that coming into the night had only given up 9 goals all season. You've given up 33% of your season total just in one match. That's got to be just a little bit jarring, I think. "20 minutes into this second half. Talking about a defense that's been top 10 in the country in really a lot of statistical categories, and their shutout percentage over 70%. That leads Division I soccer. And that's been against, again, some really good offenses that they've seen both in the SEC and in the non-conference. Substitution as Anaya Robinson and Kate Runyon come off. Feels like we haven't seen a lot of Mac Midgley here in this second half either. Done a good job keeping the ball away from her feet. Now at the feet of Fossey. North Carolina moving it around. Olivia Thomas tripped up. You see, and a yellow card is shown, given to Reese Mattern.
Tennessee, number 12, Reese Mattern.
Let's see, Olivia Thomas takes the touch. She baits Reese Mattern. Reese Mattern just leaves her foot extended, ends up tripping up Olivia Thomas. Results in the foul.
Well, a free kick coming for North Carolina, and this one in a pretty dangerous spot too. We've already seen this team once tonight just kind of bully one in from a set piece, but what are you thinking here defensively for Tennessee?
Keep in mind, Della Rose has that left-footed in-swinger. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes on frame.
Thomas takes it and looking for a goal. Dangerous shot just above the crossbar.
And that was a really nice strike by her with her right foot in-swinger, just slightly above it.
She will absolutely let it rip anytime. And again, North Carolina just spending time here in their offensive third, pressuring this Tennessee team.
I think this is where Tennessee has to be extremely careful. They cannot afford to be caught in possession. I recognize that they don't want to give up the ball, but I think it's better to turn the ball over higher up on the field than to be caught in their defensive third.
Well, the winner of this matchup takes on either Texas Tech, the 6th seed, or the Roadrunners of UTSA out of the American in the second round. Scores from Lubbock, and it is the Red Raiders a 1-0 lead early. Of course, Don't know where that will be played yet. Depends on a matchup with Grambling and TCU that starts here in another 30 minutes. But in all likelihood, winner of this one headed to Fort Worth. Right now, UNC in control, a 2-goal lead. Tennessee hasn't really felt like they've had much of an opportunity this half to really, break through offensively either. Physical challenge on the right side.
I gotta say, Kennedy Price has just been playing phenomenal defense for Tennessee. Earlier first half, we saw her matched up against Olivia Thomas. And second half, this assignment has been Bella Devi, and she's been up to the task tonight.
Certainly showed up to play, the senior from Franklin, Tennessee, trying to make sure this isn't her final match in the orange and white, as are several of these seniors. That is the dark side of postseason play, all the elation that comes from winning. And regardless of who wins tonight, you're going to send off some really awesome seniors one way or the other that have been a pleasure to watch over a 4-year stretch, 5-year stretch in their careers.
Here's what I know about games such as this. When you have two quality opponents, Tennessee and North Carolina, the game is not over till the final whistle. I mean, I've been a part of several games earlier this season. In fact, the Duke-North Carolina game, a lot of people thought Duke had that one in the bag against North Carolina. North Carolina ended up coming back to score 2 goals in the final 2 minutes, making that a 3-2 game. So anything's possible. Florida State ended up nearly, or NC State nearly beat Florida State. Last 30 seconds, Florida State comes back. There's been so many close call games that have come down to the wire.
And again, North Carolina fans, as successful as they've been in the postseason, they need no reminder of how postseason games can turn and turn quickly. Again, you go back 2022, that national championship, 16 seconds away from winning. UCLA ties it, wins in overtime, just heartbreak for the Tar Heels. You fast forward a year later, and you're trying to get back to the College Cup on the road out in Provo, Utah, taking on BYU, a snowy, cold night, and in one of the biggest comebacks we've seen in recent tournament history. An 89th minute goal from BYU flipped that game on its head and allowed them to come back and win that game, eliminate UNC. So again, just this decade alone, they've been on the wrong end of some heartbreak.
And I think that's just where, you've got to stay focused on the process, stay focused on the moment and making sure that you're executing, taking care of the ball. I think for Tennessee, that's part of the problem at the moment, is just making sure that they're connecting passes and taking care of the ball, protecting it.
Luciana Latino.
Skylar Sydney Miller, the twins subbing in here, as well as Luciana Latino. Devin Davis, Jenna Stayert, and Kennedy Price will all get some rest. So just he has it deep in the attacking third, just looking for some grass. Turned out by UNC. Possession at the feet of Midgley. She's fighting hard. Mac Midgley keeps it alive. Gets some help, but now Thomas takes it away. UNC going to try and counter off of it. Fossey running ahead of Thomas. Thomas, ball at her feet, challenged, going 2-on-1. And Latino comes all the way back to take it away.
And just excellent recovery speed by Latino to provide the assistance and being able to strip Thomas from that ball. That was a dangerous situation building as you had Fossey on the far side. We talked about the connectedness between Thomas and Fossey.
North Carolina again off the turnover. A move, Penny, a shot goes high.
And Penny just putting on display her technical ability, being able to bait the Tennessee player, cutting left, cutting right, getting that shot off, goes just a little bit over the top. Fantastic footwork by Penny.
Penny, the sophomore from Miami, Florida, did get a little bit of a taste of the postseason last year, did appear in 4 NCAA tournament matches, but just to the tune of 17 minutes per match. Certainly being counted on much more heavily this go-round is, again, UNC trying to defend their 2024 national title and win championship number 24. In order to do that, well, you got to make it out of the first round. And again, on the road here in Knoxville, they've been 25-1 in first-round matchups in program history. In fact, UNC, the only team that has never missed the tournament. They've been in every single NCAA tournament since the inception of it. Tennessee trying to find some magic to make this stay a short one. But the Tar Heels just continuing to control. Tar Heels take it back away on the power tee. Sent all the way back to Johan to reset.
And Carolina's doing a phenomenal job of just dictating the tempo and the pace of this game. We saw the reset there, and now they're quickly on the attack.
Turned away looking for Thomas, but Hope Munson keeps it alive. In a running defensive play, Skylar Miller. Now turned on, numbers for North Carolina, low cross. I think Fossey might have been offside. She was.
And you can see this is where that fitness is really kicking in for this Carolina team. All of the players continuing to show that third, fourth, fifth gear in their play, their ability to step to the ball.
Apologies, that was actually a Tennessee foul that led to a UNC throw-in. 16 minutes to go here. If you're Tennessee, you'd like to at least cut into that deficit and try and get this back to a one-goal game, before you get into single digits. But right now, it starts with even just getting possession back and keeping possession established. Up the left side comes Hope Munson. Strong defensive play, knocks her off her spot. Cross sent in, Fossey went for the bicycle there. Instead, I caught a pretty good piece of trying to get a good look at who that is down
on the ground.
Looked like Clerman caught that right foot of Fossey.
So here's the service across from Thomas. It's Devi who heads the ball. Fossey trying to get a flick on it and is met with Leah Clearman. Looks like Clearman just took one right to the quad.
Junior from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. It's been a huge part of an elite Tennessee defense. Her and Allie Brown really holding down that back line. And a Tar Heel foul at midfield. Looks like Kate Fossey's taken exception to something and passionately letting the official know. So stern talking to is being handed out by the referee. Fossey still pleading her case.
I love how Caden Norris comes up to provide the support to Leah Clearman, just making sure everything good here, you need me here. That's a teammate for you.
Yeah, an elite teammate, an elite goalkeeper in Caden Norris. Throw in coming for North Carolina. Off the back of the head of Thomas. Tennessee turns it over. Lady Vols will try and get reorganized and get a run going. Fossey just, I mean, just nonstop chasing, pressuring. It feels like she has the ability to teleport sometimes with how quickly she can get to different spots on the field.
Check yourself.
Another North Carolina foul. This crowd's starting to find some life here. 14 minutes to go, and well, the folks, the Vol supporters, the Vol faithful, hoping this is not the final 14 minutes of what's been really a pretty special season for a lot of the year. Trying to give this Tennessee team just a little bit of extra energy, just something to spark this offense. Long pass into the box, headed to the top of the 18, and back to UNC. Tennessee got in too deep. Goal kick coming. Hannah Johan can just send this away. And at what point down 2 goals do you have to start pressing to the point where maybe, you are kind of leaving yourself more exposed on the back end?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, this game determines whether or not your season is over or if it continues. So without a doubt, you have to play with a little bit more intentionality, more intensity, more pressing. I mean, I definitely think you have to put your foot on the gas a little bit. But at the same time, you can't play panic ball. And I don't think Tennessee's done that just yet. But I do think, this is the point in the game where it's fine to play those long balls over the top, put numbers into the attack, do what you can to get numbers forward.
North Carolina has just been incredibly comfortable this entire second half. Just weaving through defenders. Possession stays with the Tar Heels. You look at shots, and it's 9-5 right now, UNC. Lady Vols still don't have a shot in the second half.
North Carolina does a really good job of sitting their attacking players on the back line of Tennessee. And I think what Tennessee has to do in order to kind of eliminate some of that space to play into is step those defenders up. Tennessee needs to move their defensive line up, push those players higher up off of them, then they can drop back some if necessary. But I think Tennessee's got to get more players into the attack, and they've got to do it at a faster pace.
Well, an offensive trio subbing in currently: Anaya Robinson, Jenna Stayert, and Kate Runyon. All enter the field of play. That trio will be tasked with driving the offense necessary to erase a 2-goal deficit here in the final 12-20. The clock still stopped here. David Nahas not happy along the North Carolina sideline. Robinson whiffs on the header. Nearly found its way through to Thomas. Tennessee the long pass the other way. Stayert chasing it down.
And that was a smart play by Leah Clearman. She recognizes Kate Runyon's got some space, tries to isolate her by playing that ball in.
Whistle. No foul given. Goes back to UNC. So unable to set it up there, just quickly possession given away.
I mean, the amount of fouls that we've seen called on both sides tonight has been pretty astronomical.
15-13, and it felt like this was really pretty physical early on, and maybe it's almost an overreaction to some of that physicality, but we've seen whistle after whistle after whistle here in this second half. And right on cue, there's another. It seems like both sides frustrated at this point. Long pass, Clermont. Headed back towards net. It's still on the ground. A shot just wide. Oh my goodness. First shot of the second half almost The goal that cut this deficit to 1 just missed to the right. A golden opportunity for the Lady Vols.
And I think Tennessee just needs to continue to build off this momentum. The service comes in. It's the missed clearance off the Carolina. There's a bouncing around inside of the box, and Jenna Stayer does what she can to try to put that ball on frame. It slides just a little bit wide. Good look from her, and I think for Tennessee, that's just the breath of life that they need. This surge of confidence here these last final minutes of this match.
Running with confidence. Sent to the middle, still alive. Midgley. Far side, into the 18. Turned away. Still kept alive. Latino ahead. Angling near that back line. Tennessee's earned a corner.
And that was nice work there by Sydney Miller, just to stay steady over the ball and earn that corner kick for this Tennessee team. They nearly scored against Carolina in the first half off a corner kick opportunity. Can they do it again?
Much needed second corner of the night. Headed in the air, still alive. Latino sends it towards net, cleared out. Chased down. Sydney Miller gets to it. Sends it back towards goal. Trying to keep it in the attacking third. Strong play, Luciana Latino. Still giving chase. And another Tennessee throw-in coming. It's a Tennessee team that really has done a good job match after match all year long. They've earned a lot of corners. Surprising to just see the second corner of the night coming right around the 10-minute mark.
Number 17, Olivia Stott.
Now single digits
And number 26,
on the clock,
Sarah
and
Kate
looking
Rath.
for some more offense. Olivia Stott, Sarah Kate Rath into the game. Headed forward, Robinson. Tennessee starting to put some pressure on. Olivia Stott, 6 goals on the season. A strong tackle, Tennessee wins it back.
This is a good opportunity. Leah Clearman has a really strong leg. If she can serve it into the box, put it somewhere near the penalty box, that would be fantastic.
Low service, and it's kicked high up in the air, now swept away. Still in the box, turned on, sent towards net, and Johan forced to make the save. 8 minutes to go, and here in the last 5 minutes, we've seen this Tennessee offense start to pick it up in terms of opportunities. But now, just hoping you don't run out of time.
And Della Rose comes in for the head, and it's Olmark who also comes in defensively, but Tennessee able to still get that shot off. Johan comes up at the save, and you can see the shots on goal comparison between North Carolina and Tennessee.
Just working the ball forward to the best of their ability here. Cleared back to midfield. And all the way back to Norris as Kate Fossey chases. Midgley. Pass to midfield, finds Latino. Far side. Off the chest and kept in. Energy starting to die down a little bit in the crowd again. Lady Vols just need some kind of spark. Sarah Kate Rath battling up that right side. UNC just good defense again and a yellow card.
And Mara has to slide out on Kate Rath, that 1v1 defending.
Still down. Clock stopped at 6:46. Tar Heel cramping up down along the inline. Opportunity for a couple of Tar Heels. Kate Fossey specifically to go grab a quick drink of water. All the running she's done tonight.
Here's another look. You can just see the battle between the two of them. Mara does a fantastic job of shielding that ball all the way out of bounds. And Rath comes in from behind. Just clips Mara on that calf muscle.
Over the head of Fossey. Tennessee quickly throwing it back into play. Down the right side, battling for it to the feet of Rath. Sent out again. Calling for a ball as quickly as possible. Flicked towards net, a pop, and Johan scoops it. Now North Carolina can really try and milk some of this clock. Tennessee starting to run out of time, but again, postseason play, anything possible, certainly. Tennessee trying to make the impossible possible.
I think just in the last 9 minutes, we've really seen Tennessee step first to the ball, and it's made all the difference in terms of play and possession.
Kept alive, Midgley. Thurman thought about the long pass in, instead dropped off Kennedy Price. She will send it deep, headed toward net, and a leaping stop. Hannah Johan turned away.
And Johan,
great opportunity.
Johan does a fantastic job of seeing that ball all the way down safely. Just a fantastic opportunity. Kennedy Price with a service on the back post. Kate Runyon and Anaya Robinson. It's off the head of Robinson. And Johan comes up with a big-time save at the right moment for this Carolina team.
4 saves tonight for North Carolina to just 1. And that's, you know, somewhere that Tennessee usually has had the advantage. Pretty much every match they've been the team that, well, if they haven't had more saves, that's just because they haven't even really faced the shots to have that number, you know, soar up. I mean, it's been a really tough defense to crack it. If you do crack it, still a good opportunity, you know, still a good chance this season at least that Caden Norris makes some sort of save. But tonight, this North Carolina offense has just really been impressive. 4:13 to go.
You can see Carolina doing a really good job of just managing the play, managing the clock, doing what they can to maintain possession.
Looking to run, Midgley ahead. Looking for Runyon. Now Midgley slides to keep it alive. Good effort to keep possession with Tennessee. Stared with the flashy move, a long shot, deflected, still alive, and the second save made by Johan as well. And here in the last 10 minutes, we've seen some exceptional play in goal from Hannah Johan.
And you could just slowly see that belief coming back into this Lady Vol team. Stayart just fires a shot from on top of the box, forces Johan to come out, make the save, and Rath is on the end of it for a second attempt for Tennessee.
Corner, kept alive, flicked back in, headed out. Possession still in the balance. Thomas chasing after it. UNC might be able to counter one-on-one here. Up the right side, defensive stand. I believe that was Olivia Stott. .245 left to go. Tennessee needs 2 to tie it. For Tennessee, if you aren't able to find the 2 goals necessary to equalize, well, that's, you know, certainly got to be a pretty disappointing feeling given the way this season started. But right now, another opportunity. Midgley back to the middle, a shot off the move. Skylar Millard had a golden opportunity, but just sent it right into the chest of Hannah Johan.
I mean, we've seen more attempts from this Tennessee team second half. In the last 9-10 minutes of play, just that combination work between Mac Midgley finding her teammate back up on top. One can't help but to think if Tennessee had played with this intentionality the whole second half, I mean, stepping to the balls, I mean, they're finally having a little bit of confidence themselves. They're moving the ball quickly, breaking that press by Carolina.
Now Fossey alone on the right, chase down Latino.
And she's going to do what she can to kind of run that time off the clock. I mean, it's really unfortunate for Tennessee. They've had such a fantastic season. They've been able to accomplish a lot. It's certainly sad to see that their season's going to end tonight against this Carolina team, especially when they had such a phenomenal showing against them to start the mark of the season. But hats off to this Carolina team. They've shown some tremendous posure over the ball, just their technicality, the speed at which they're playing. I have no doubt that they're going to continue to do well in the NCAA tournament.
1 minute remaining. And for Tennessee, again, it's not quite back to the drawing board. I mean, of course, this was a fantastic season. It ends up with you hosting a postseason match. 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. You know, one of the best defenses in the nation this season is Johan, again, just confident there, grabbing it with conviction. But at the same time, you know, offense was the issue a year ago for Tennessee, and they spent the entire offseason trying to figure out how to address it. You know, part of the offense sputtering in the second half, that's just things out of your control. Shea O'Rourke tears an ACL. She was someone that you were really counting on. Kylie Simmons was never available to play at any point, but it's got to be frustrating that even as high as this season started, you reached new heights. The first time ever in program history to be ranked #1, but still, you know, the season ends with that same bad feeling of not being able to find enough offense when you need it. And as the clock winds down, the Tar Heels will celebrate, and the title defense for UNC starts with a win and a first-round upset. How many times have we said first-round upset when talking about UNC soccer? But that's the case tonight. 3-1, the final score. They knock off the host Lady Vols and end what was a dream season for Joe Kirk's Tennessee squad.